Welcome back, guys, girls, cryptomaniacs. Subscribe and like to be part of this supreme cryptomaniac community. In today's upload, I wanted to update you on the SEGWIT2X fork, all concerns, all the possible outcomes, and when it will occur. It's programmed to be around November 16. Block number 494,784. It's not accurate to November 16th. It could be a day earlier, a day later. We have to see when this block will occur, and you can monitor that. Well, there is a huge, very long article on CoinDesk titled "Understanding SEGWIT2X: Why Bitcoin's next fork might not be meant for free money." And this is a very important understanding I want to bring you to, because as Bitcoin is gearing up for the new, for what could be the biggest and least understood change to its software to date. So SEGWIT2X claims to be the biggest fork where Bitcoin Cash was nothing against, and they want to practically change the rules in it, while they claim that they have the most support of the community, like the more mining power, the more startups, governmental and companies support. While the other half of the community, like people like me and you, I guess, are not supporting that much the change of Bitcoin's code. Often called simply a digital currency, Bitcoin is best viewed as a protocol that delivers data in defined quantities that are then stored in a sequence called blockchain on a distributed set of global computers. Bitcoin is decentralized in that many people help to make the network function. And in choosing to run its software, users all agree to abide by the same rules to keep it operational. So everybody has to agree on the same to have one blockchain. Now, the possible outcomes actually could be a chain split if there will be two sides in the support of Bitcoin Legacy and Bitcoin 2X or SEGWIT2X Bitcoin. We are still not sure how they gonna name it and stuff like that. Like other recent forks, SEGWIT2X is an alternative software, an attempt to increase the block size from 1 to 2 MB, and a hard fork. Anyone whose software is not upgraded to the new rules will no longer be part of the network. A modification of the blockchain software, of the Bitcoin software run by the network participants, and that enforce the protocol rules. In case SEGWIT2X code called BTC1. Alright. First and foremost, whereas Bitcoin Cash developers appeared content to create a new blockchain with new rules, SEGWIT2X goal is to keep all Bitcoin's existing users on one blockchain. So to shift everybody, to bring them from Bitcoin Legacy to Bitcoin SEGWIT2X. In this way, SEGWIT2X could have different outcomes. This include Bitcoin rules change. Most or all miners upgrade their software. The Bitcoin blockchain continues to function, but features larger blocks. SEGWIT2X rules become the rules of Bitcoin. So if everybody approaches SEGWIT2X, SEGWIT2X will take over and be the main Bitcoin. Two Bitcoins are created is the second outcome, and Bitcoin's rules do not change is the third one. Only some miners upgrade their software. In that case, two Bitcoins are created. This creates two blockchain, a so-called legacy Bitcoin and SEGWIT2X Bitcoin, both with different rules and unique cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin's rules do not change. No significant miners run the new software, and the network continues to run the current rules. Like, this is what I would like most, as I support the core developers and not the companies, miners, and startups. However, it's the second outcome that might be the most of most concerns to users, given it appears possible. The reason is that those who support the change and those who do not Both appear to have support from different parts of the community, so it seems like a 50-50. In short, while SEGWIT2X claims to have a super majority of miners and exchanges, it can't be said 100% of the network users support just one side, the SEGWIT2X side. So, draws the most support from miners and startups, the businesses that profit by providing a service to Bitcoin users, allowing them to spend, store, or purchase cryptocurrencies, and the network users who run hardware necessary to secure the blockchain and profit from Bitcoin's block rewards. They argue on Bitcoin should be digital money. Competitors are gaining because of Bitcoin's inaction. Existing upgrades aren't enough. Now, they say that the addition of code to the blockchain in August hasn't brought enough that the capacity increases promised. So we still are struggling with huge fees on the Bitcoin legacy network, and the speed is not the best. There are many other competitors that are gaining because of Bitcoin's inaction. They believe protocols other than Bitcoin have continued to gain traction because they are useful for payments. Those protocols are currently capturing value that otherwise would have been Bitcoins. So what they think is that, well, what I think and most of the community is that Bitcoin is a store of value more than a store, like a thing to exchange, a payment method. It can be used as a payment method, but the most effective thing of Bitcoin is that you can use it as a store of value, and it's the cryptocurrency with the most of the value in the market cap. It has right now, let's go and see, like almost 60% of dominance, 59.6% dominance. It's around at 6,611 right now, another 7%. Bitcoin Cash back up almost $500. Bitcoin Cash, China aims to have the most of Bitcoin Cash using down there. Bitconnect rising up with Bitcoin. Nice to see that. I'm invested. I'm risking that. Now let's go back. It should compete with the US dollar or other fiat currencies, and thus a priority should be put in its use as means of an exchange. Now, remember, Bitcoin was created as a store of value. It's already challenging US dollar and fiat currency. Other groups opposes this thinking, like the core developers and the node operators. The core developers are those voluntary group that maintains Bitcoin's code. This group includes a number of people that have arguably worked on the Bitcoin protocol the longest. So, those guys who we trust to. The Bitcoin users, node operators, the Bitcoin users who store copies of the blockchain's full transaction history with bigger blocks, they will see rising storage costs. So they don't want that. And they argue Bitcoin is a store of value, not a payment network. SEGWIT2X is risky. SEGWIT2X gives miners and business too much power over the overall community. And another thing I want to add to you, I know good that SEGWIT2X has no effing replay protection. So after the fork, we could have double spending problems, and that just your Bitcoin legacy, if you use the Bitcoin SEGWIT2X chain to have in a transaction, because it has no replay protection, the same transaction could occur also on the other blockchain, Bitcoin legacy, and your original Bitcoin will be spent also. So it's just a 50% loss for you. Now, though they seem to think the latter is possible in future as technology advances, so Bitcoin can become a payment network with more efficiency. SEGWIT2X is risky. Should Bitcoin break or fail to deliver transaction, they believe this could undermine the project as a whole. SEGWIT2X gives miners and business too much power. They argue that this is effectively centralizing decision making for the centralized network. So SEGWIT2X is mainly seen as the centralization of Bitcoin, that its first purpose was to be a decentralized project on blockchain. Well, it was actually the first blockchain, and all this decentralized concept behind it is now being blown away if SEGWIT2X triggers and everybody shifts on that blockchain, and now all the miners and business owners get all this power to make changes, to upgrade the code, to change whatever kind of decision there is to make, it's in the hands of the miners and the business. Just because they got more hashing power and all that. How likely is a split? Well, for now it's perhaps too early to say it for sure. We have to wait for November 16th when it will be triggered, and then we will have confirmations about what has happened. But with that in mind, we do have some indications given the mechanics of how SEGWIT2X has been coded. This is because SEGWIT2X uses BIP9 activation, and miners are mostly supporting SEGWIT2X. So there is a list of who supports SEGWIT2X: 1hash, Bitfury, Bitmain, BTC.com, BTCC, BTC Top, via BTC. Most of this are mining pools, so they have the most of the software, and people purchase from them mining contracts and buying actually that piece of software to let them mine for us, and we get the block rewards, but they got the software running all that shit. So if they decide to switch over SEGWIT2X, we could even don't know it and just be running our ASIC power on the SEGWIT2X blockchain and not anymore on the Bitcoin legacy. This means that the rule change is governed by the percentage of miners running the new code. On paper, the plan boasts roughly 80% of network's miners as signatories, a group some believe is big enough to switch the majority of the network over to the SEGWIT2X chain. So this is what the SEGWIT2X developers think. The reasoning here goes like this. The SEGWIT2X chain will quickly accumulate the most mining power, making the original Bitcoin unprofitable or unmanageable to mine, and ensuring a total migration, because it won't be profitable anymore mining the legacy Bitcoin. They will all switch to SEGWIT2X. I hope that won't happen. Yet, that's not to say all these miners will eventually run the code. While more complex, the reason why include many back Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin's China-based community tends to be more invested in Bitcoin Cash, which already increased the block size to 8 MB. So using Bitcoin Cash is already faster, it has already lower fees, and most of the Chinese-based community is using Bitcoin Cash. Miners aren't likely to act unilaterally. Signatories like via BTC and BTC Top are mining pools that primarily sell software subscription to other miners. This is what I said before. Some miners aren't supporting. This includes F2 pool, which governs 5.6% of the network, and Slush pool, responsible for 7.3%. So if we add this up, we got like a 12% average that's not supporting, plus all the community, plus all the little miners around the world. Maybe we could get to 30% of community not supporting it, while they say 80% of the network miners are signatories. Let's go on. Yeah, when will this occur? On the block, this block, guys. Also of importance here will be the percentage value of a SEGWIT2X cryptocurrency. Already exchanges are experimenting by listing a version of the coin, so they are making a test on their own exchange just by the order book. Okay, not selling, not buying, they're just making up an order book to see what the estimated value of SEGWIT2X, the new version of Bitcoin, would be, and it's estimated at just over $1,000, double the price of Bitcoin Cash and much higher than Bitcoin Gold. So there is quite a support behind Bitcoin Cash. Guys, tell me what you think. Tell me your opinion. You know my opinion. I just told you, I don't support SEGWIT2X. I don't support the takeover of corporations, mining pools, and big businesses, startups. I don't support that, as I'm part of the decentralized community, and I don't want Bitcoin to be centralized. Like, there are some centralized currencies like Ripple and stuff like that. So if people like them, just go over there. Why you need to make a new Bitcoin? Why do you, we want to be left alone with our Bitcoin. It's at $6,600 right now. I want it to be 10,000 by the SEGWIT2X fork. After the SEGWIT2X fork, it will likely crash down. I don't know. We could maybe even touch back on $5,000 because I don't want to make price prediction, you know, I'm not an investment advisor, but I got my opinion, and my opinion is that everybody is pumping Bitcoin for this SEGWIT2X fork, so everybody will be airdropped this Bitcoin 2X or BTC1, how they will decide to call it, and after that the price will crash and money will flow in again into altcoins. So in this moment I'm buying altcoins that are in red. Guys. Monaco, Walton, Bitcoins is a good project. Waves, Civic, Gas and Neo, the 10X, Zencash, Salt, edX. These are all under 10%, guys. They are 10% down. Cardano, I'm holding Cardano even if I'm in a little loss right now. Steam is very, very, very low. But, you know, other platforms could come out, other decentralized social platforms could come out and take over Steam. Lisk, IOTA. I will make videos about IOTA. I got some insights from a lady I met yesterday at a stock market trading seminar, that gave me some insights. She's the middleman between investors and startup people who want to start up. So she is the middleman, and she was actually the middleman for this guys and IOTA. And to get IOTA started, she advised them to investors, and she gave me some good insights on IOTA. And I will make a video about that, very detailed, on what IOTA is and how it works and all that. Bancor, I'm holding Bancor. I'm in red right now, but I give a shit. Ethereum back under $300. This was expected. I told you yesterday. It's just up and down between 295 and 310. Because we are hovering, and well, we can go and see at the Bitcoin dominance. Nothing has changed so much since. What is this? Nothing has changed so much since September, October, or August, even August 31st. We are right now there. We had some sideways movement here between 172 billion and where we are right now. If we go at the dominance, we can see, you know, yeah, you see Ethereum decreasing and all that, but Ethereum right now is at the same price. It's not indicating the price, it's just indicating this number, the total market cap, with the Bitcoin market cap. So there is new money flowing in that has never been before in the cryptos, because we see here we are hitting a new all-time high in the total market capitalization, and it's all thanks to Bitcoin. Those people who missed out on Bitcoin Gold, on Bitcoin Cash, won't miss out SEGWIT2X. So I expect the next 2 weeks to be a huge Bitcoin pump. It can be that now it grows for 3 days, crashes down 5 or 10%, and then it goes back up to 7,000. Then I don't know. I could expect it in the next 2 weeks to approach $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, but I'm not so sure that we will keep this value till the end of this year. I think at the end of the year, Ethereum will gain dominance, will regain some dominance in the overall market. Guys, subscribe and like. Thank you for watching, and comment your opinions. That's very, very important. Comment your opinions, advices, whatever you have to say, whatever you think, whatever, it's helpful. Have a nice.